Hi, I'm Bob O'Reilly. I'm 30 years old and in pretty good shape. I have red hair, and I've been working the second shift on a production line in a factory for the past 2 years. I only completed my high school education and didn't go to college. I was a heavy equipment operator in the Army for 8 years. I did 2 tours abroad, one in Afghanistan and one in Iran. I didn't fight, but I did take a lot of bullets. After I left the service 3 years ago, I married my high school sweetheart, but it didn't work out. I found out my wife has been cheating on me the whole time. I have been going to school too. I've been trying to become a truck driver. I know I have PTSD syndrome because of my time in the service, but I do go to a psychologist for it. One evening, I was sick and left work early to go home. As I was about to open my apartment door, I heard Rhonda giggling and conversing with a man. They were calling me a fool. I was pretty dumbfounded and laughing at me, though my time in the service did teach me some valuable lessons. All I wanted to do was break in and kill them both. But I remembered the lesson: never enter a situation hastily and never act out of anger. I had to get up and move on. I was working all night, going to school during the day, and going to a psychologist 3 times a week. The next day, I went to see him about what had happened. I told him that I had come close to killing them, but decided I would get them back and make them regret it without me going to jail. He suggested I start seeing him every day, but I told him that I couldn't. I took a week's vacation because of school and decided I would find out who this guy was and figure out what to do. I bought 3 small spy cameras on the internet that recorded video and sound. They would activate when there was sound. I watched my apartment and found out his name was John Rich. In the next 2 days, I got a new phone number, and found a new apartment in the next town over. I then went to my landlord to cancel my lease at the end of this month. I also went to my bank and changed my savings, checking, and credit cards. I canceled my auto and homeowner's insurance and went to a new company to get new insurance just for me at the new address. I called the utilities and asked them to change my account and shut off the utilities at the end of the month at my old address. I went to my job to have a chat with HR about changing my insurance to just me. I then asked to speak to the plant manager. I explained what was going on. He seemed really nice and told me he'd been through something similar. He said I could be transferred to a different plant, but I told him it would have to be a 3rd shift position, which would be fine, as he didn't know I was planning to leave in 2 months to start a new job as a truck driver. I asked if I had a good lawyer yet, and he introduced me to the attorney for his wife, Mrs. Jenny Kurtz. He said she was a true shark. I thanked him and said I'd call the next day to make an appointment. I called the attorney's office later after I'd had a beer at my friend's place. I went over to my friend Pete's house and asked if he could help me move. He said he could arrange a truck and several colleagues who could help, and he would only need to know when. I informed him that the move would be at the end of the month. I had gotten a lot of things done in the last couple of days. When I got home, Rhonda was asleep as usual. I got the videos of Rhonda and John sleeping in my bed, and then they started talking about me again, saying I was an idiot. I noticed that John had used my shower gel, shampoo, mouthwash, and shaving cream. He'd even taken my toothbrush and stuck it in the toilet. Rhonda was laughing. I thought, oh boy, am I going to screw them over. I was really angry. The next afternoon, I told Rhonda that I had to get some things done. I didn't want to be near her or I would kill her. I had to be a great actor. I found out where that idiot worked. He's a used car salesman. I went and got all new toiletries, shower gel, shampoo, mouthwash, toothbrush, and toothpaste. I also bought a small gym bag to keep that stuff in when I went in the shower. I pissed in all my old stuff. I was watching the bastard, and it turns out he has more than one girlfriend. I followed him and took pictures of them making out. I have 2 weeks left to get everything together. I went to the attorney's office and gave her a flash drive with the videos I had of Rhonda and John. I also explained what was happening. Jenny was shocked by what he had done to my toothbrush and by their mutual laughter about it. I told her that I had found out that he was dating other married women. I called the other husbands and asked them to meet us at a restaurant in 5 days. I didn't tell them why. I told Jenny I might have more clients for her. I left and went back to follow John. I found out that he had a motel room that he was renting, and he'd bring these women to the room. I bought 2 more spy cameras. I dressed up like a repairman and got the chambermaid, Kelly, to let me in. I paid her $500 and told her why I was doing what I was doing. She told me that she was divorced because of a cheating husband and had wished someone had done for her what I was doing for the other husbands. I told her that I would need to get back into the room to remove the cameras after I was done in a few days. She said it would be no problem. I set 1 camera on the inside facing the bed and placed another outside behind the curtain to catch them in the act. I also discovered that one of the women John was sleeping with was his boss's wife. I copied all the videos onto flash drives and went to the doctor's office to get tested for STDs. I was negative. 5 days later, on Monday, every husband appeared at the restaurant. I took my wife, but didn't tell the other husbands why we were there. Jenny, my lawyer, introduced herself and me. I sent all the information about John to each spouse, and also gave them a flash drive with footage of their wife being taken advantage of by John. I told them that Friday is when I am having my wife and John served with divorce papers. On the 30th, which was a Saturday, and the 31st, which was the end of the month, I told them everything I had done to get ready to divorce, so they could do similar. My lawyer, Jenny, asked me how I was doing and thanked me for the new clients. All 5 of the other husbands took Jenny as their lawyer as well. Jenny asked me what I had done to get revenge, and I told her about pissing in the shower gel and shampoo. She didn't want to know about the toothpaste, though. She just laughed. I gave her all new flash drives to help with the other cases. I called Kelly, the chambermaid, so I could remove the cameras. I also asked if she'd like to go out to dinner on Saturday, and she said yes. I called Pete for Friday afternoon and he said he'd be free. I haven't seen Rhonda since I found out she was cheating. I don't even think she noticed I called and booked her into a spa all day Friday as an apology. She was really happy. She called John and told him she was going to be busy Friday, but he wasn't happy. I asked for another day off. Rhonda left for her appointment on Friday morning full of excitement. I contacted Pete and he arrived. We got to work organizing my belongings. After 2 hours, we had packed everything I owned. By this point, John was being served at his former employment, while Rhonda was being pampered at the spa. The wives were all served at the same time. John was found in his motel room beaten up. Rhonda was angry when she got home and found out that I had disappeared. She had to move in with her parents. Just as her landlord thought he had found me at work, I started my new job as a long-haul truck driver. My lawyer, Jenny, had my power of attorney to get my divorce done. Rhonda was fighting the divorce but ended up giving up. 6 months later, I was free. John walks with a permanent limp and has lost his nuts. For a while, it seemed like every other month, something was broken on him. I feel so bad for him. Yeah, right. I guess all the cheating wives got divorced. It was about 5 years later that I saw him. I was sitting in a restaurant when someone tapped me on the shoulder. It was Rhonda. She looked like she'd aged about 10 years. She asked if she could sit down for a few minutes and talk to me. I pointed to the chair and said, "Please." Rhonda started to cry. She said she was sorry for what she'd done to me. I was pretty blown away. I told her I'd forgiven her years ago. She said she just wanted to get away from her parents, and that's why she married me. She said yes when I asked if she'd like to eat with me. She placed her order after I called the waitress again. We just sat and chatted for 2 hours. When I returned to school, she became a nurse. I told her that I still drove trucks across the country. We go out and spend the evenings in bed together, now that I stay over every time I visit the area. FWB, what's your take on the situation? Thanks for joining us in our stories, where revenge is served hot. Please consider subscribing to our channel to ensure your next chef remains loyal. Tune in for the next one to get your revenge appetite fulfilled. If you're below 18, hold on. It's not for the faint-hearted. I'm sorry to say that I'm not feeling very heartened at the moment.